Hi, Blake with BlvdHome, and today I'm in a closet. No, not actually in the closet. If you recognize any of our videos or watched before, this is Reed's home. We're looking in his little laundry room here, and this is a Kenmore front loader and a Kenmore dryer. Now, you can see they're beautiful. They don't match each other. This is built by LG, and this is actually built by Whirlpool. You know, they've been trusted appliances for him, and Reed's thinking about making a change, and so I'm here to talk about these changes with Reed. And so let me get Reed in here because it's kind of a small room and be together to kind of, you know, I like Reed, but not that much. And through the magic of camera, we're going to bring him in and talk about why he wants to make the changes and what we're going to do in this room.
Okay, so I might get a lot of hate for this, but these two machines actually still work perfectly fine. So why are we getting rid of them? Many of you are going to be mad that we're getting rid of perfectly good old reliable, they don't make them like they used to, units. But don't be mad at me for that, because the reason we're remodeling this has nothing to do with the units themselves and more to do with our personal use of this space. There are two big reasons why we're replacing this setup, even though the machines still work. Both reasons have a lot to do with functionality of this room as it pertains to how we use it and our needs. For example, this door does not open very well when we leave the washer door open. You can even see there's marks where it hits the door when this is left open. A lot of times we need to leave this open so it can air out and it doesn't get that nasty smell that builds up in there if we leave it closed after a wash. And you might be thinking, okay, well, why don't you just get a top load to match your other top load? And that way we don't have that problem. And you'd be right, that would be a great point. But that leads us to the second issue that we're solving with a laundry tower, and that is this mess right here. And if we had a top load, that wouldn't really happen, but also it would just move to the dryer. We really don't have a mud room in this home, so that's part of why I chose to go with a laundry tower. Now we could have gone with a wash combo like the LG all-in-one or the Samsung or the GE, but as it turns out, we already have the LG wash combo for testing purposes in our closet. My wife prefers the traditional dryer separate from the wash combos. I am the main user of the wash combo. She doesn't like to use it as much. It's just not as practical for family needs. As a disclaimer, this video is not sponsored by who we chose for the laundry tower, so stick around to figure out who we chose. We obviously realized we needed a laundry tower. We had many options to choose from, but we chose the one we chose for many specific reasons, and we'll get into that later. Okay, so what is the purpose of this video and why is Blake here with me for this remodel? The reason Blake is here is he's gonna be helping me design this mudroom space so that this laundry tower that we end up putting in is service tech friendly. You can just ask Blake what he thinks of all these custom built laundry rooms where the washer is elevated off the ground. It makes for service nightmares. And we want to do something unique with this video where we're designing the space for its intended purpose, but also allow us to maneuver in this tight space the appliance out so it can be serviced. It's probably going to be a challenge to do that regardless, but that is why Blake is here. And now I'll turn it back over to him to explain that.
I'm back. Let's talk about this laundry room and things that are always a concern for me in homes and for any service technician, to be quite honest with you. The problems we have with a lot of places, because this is a small room, it really is a small room. You know, it's big enough, you know, for a front load machine. It's borderline as far as size. Now, a lot of builders don't take this into consideration because they're trying to figure in square footage to have more living space, and they're not really concerned about laundry space. I have the same issue in my home. My home's a little bit different than this, but I would have loved to put a front load machine in my personal home, but because of space limitations and, you know, actually I would have to fix it. I can't call somebody and say, hey, come fix my stuff, because I know they're probably not going to do the job that I would do. Just saying. With that, you have to kind of take into consideration, you know, what we've got as far as space. Now, what's going to be the easiest to fix? If I have to slide this machine out to repair it, there's not much space for this. I mean, when I pull the washer out, basically it's going to take up this whole space you see between the door and here, and try to work around the back of that is very difficult. But, you know, I've hopped over a mini machine in my life. It's nothing new, you know. It's like my wife says to me, how do you get up off the floor so easy? You're old. It's because I get up off the floor all the time. You know, and I hop over machines all the time. Gotta lose some weight so I don't damage machines when I slide over them, but you know, we make it work. With this situation that we've got here, there's not a whole lot of space in this room, especially if, you know, where Reed was talking about, he's got his shoes here. Washers and dryers become a collector of things because I go in many homes, I go to work on them, I'm like, I'm here to work on your washer, and I look on it, and it's like everything is stacked on top of it. I'm like, how am I gonna fix that? You know, I start moving stuff off. Oh, do you need that stuff to be moved off it? No. It's just gonna magically disappear, and I'm gonna be able to open it up, and yeah, I'm gonna take this lid and take everything off at once. No, because people don't think about that, but it becomes kind of a jumbled mess. Plus, if you want more room, basically you gotta go with an all-in-one unit like Reed was talking about, or you have to go with a tower, or you could go with the combination of having a stacked dryer on top of the washing machine. When you're putting a dryer on top of the washing machine, well, you have to take into consideration your controls for your dryer are way up here. So if you're height challenged, you know, you're always gonna have a difficulty reaching up here trying to see the dial, you know, unless you have like some step stool you wanna pull in here all the time. I'm sure your wife would appreciate that. But you may have to get up on a step stool to be able to see the settings. And yeah, you can know where the start button is and you know where the dial button is, but what if you wanna change the setting on it to something else? Well, it's pretty difficult when it's way up here. So for wash towers, they're right in the dead center. Everything's right in the center so everybody can see it. And also, if you have to repair the dryer or repair the washing machine, well, then you have to take the dryer completely off to be able to work on the washing machine, especially if you have to get on top of it. That's a pain, and that requires at least 2 technicians to do that. When you have an all-in-one wash tower, to be honest with you, they're pretty much built to be repaired as they sit. They're put together so you can work on them all at once, and that is part of the thing that is actually the beauty of them. And there are manufacturers that have them out there. We do have Electrolux that have them out there. We have LG, and that's our super popular one in a lot of homes. We have a Samsung one that's hit the market not too long ago, and now we have a Whirlpool one that's hit the market. But for this space and what we've got in the space, especially with we've got the door closing issue and a bunch of other things, having a wash tower is probably the best thing for this space because you're going to have lots of other working space. You can build shelving along here. One thing you need to be mindful of if you are thinking about, well, yeah, I've got a small space, I'm going to put a wash tower in right here. Well, even if you're going to build cabinetry that comes along here, so you make it perfectly fit, so it's beautiful. Yeah, well, that's great. But what if I have to get behind it? That's still an issue. Even though they're built to stay together, you still have to have rear access to it. So what I would recommend for a place like this is if you're going to have some built-in storage, have it a movable built-in storage, something you can have on wheels or something on sliders or something that you can actually slide it out of the room if you need to, so you have access to the machine. Because then it gives you flexibility on the road, because someday you might sell the home. Somebody's gonna say, well, I don't want a wash tower. I want a Speed Queen washer and dryer top load set. Well, you put something built in that's permanent here, you're limiting what you can put in the room if you put it that way, because they may not want a wash tower. They may want something different. Take that into consideration when you're thinking about putting in something different in there. Is it something that's going to work for future use? Because what if you get that wash tower and you don't like it? Chances are you probably are going to like it, but let's say you don't like it and you want something different. Well, you spend a lot of money on lumber, a lot of number on built-in stuff. You're going to pitch it all out in the garbage because it won't work. So my biggest advice for this is make sure you are going to have something that's movable in here. You can slide out in the room, you can get behind the machine, and you have some workable space in the room, because even you are going to have the wash tower, you still are limited on space between that machine and the front and the wall here. If you do make it too difficult to fix, well, sometimes we have to send 2 technicians out, and warranty or not, the machine must be accessible. If it's not accessible, you have to pay any extra charges to make it accessible, and that comes out of your pocketbook, and most people don't want to pay that, and I really don't like charging that. And then it just puts you out because we got to, because you have to spend more money. You're gonna have to schedule different times because you're gonna have to schedule 2 different technicians, and that sometimes takes time. And it's just frustrating having to wait that extra time, especially when your machine's broken and you're requiring it for your family. So these are things that you really need to take in consideration when you're going to put a wash tower or anything you put into a room of a small space. Make sure that it is accessible for the technician to be able to get in, to be able to work on this stuff, and to be able to get out the door and everything's taken care of and you're back in business. At that point, it's really what you need to look for in this space like this and what you need to consider for your technicians. Even though you see these books and these magazines and they say, yeah, look at this, it looks beautiful, it's in this stuff. So we have some pictures here and I have them on my phone and you'll be able to put them up, we'll put them up on screen so you can see them. So this first set we're looking at of this laundry here. So in this photograph here that you're gonna see, and this is a stacked on dryer on top of a wash machine. I will tell you for sure, looking at the picture, this is a condensate dryer. They're my favorite. They work great. So with the dryer being in this setting like this is not an issue in being in this opening because it doesn't have to be connected to anything in the wall. Basically, it just has to be plugged in and it's a condensate type dryer. The problem with this setup is, in my opinion, both units are gonna have to be slid completely out of that hole to get any access to any one of the units. There is the advantage, like I said, because the dryer is not connected up to the wall. So it's not too bad. If this was a regular type dryer, where it is connected to the wall, well, how are you supposed to get behind there to make sure you're not kinking off that vent hose when you're pushing it against the wall? You don't know that. So what your problem is going to be is you're going to call me, you're going to say, my dryer's not drying very well. How am I supposed to get behind there to make sure that it's not kinked behind there? So it looks great, but unless you've got an access hole somewhere else in the side of that cabinetry or around the back side of it, you're never sure exactly what's going to happen. And with any of these situations when you're like this, if you have to get behind that machine for any reason because, let's say, heaven forbid, you had a hose burst or something, well, water's flowing on the ground, what are you going to do? You can't get behind to shut the water off to it. What's your only option? Go shut off the main to your house. Well, that's great. Let's shut off the main to the house and then try to get back there and shut it off after it's flooding everywhere. Well, if you had access to it, you could reach behind it real quick, shut it off. You don't have that ability. So that's something you always want to consider when you're in a situation like this. So let's move on to the next picture here. This next picture, very similar. You're gonna have the same situation as this one. It's connections. It's everything that you're gonna have done behind the machine. You don't have access to it. And that's gonna be pretty much the same problem with this machine. There's lots of room. You can pull them out into the room and be able to work on them. But again, getting behind it is the issue for the homeowner, and making sure everything stays in place as you're pushing back. That's always the problem. This picture is probably the worst one, in my opinion, because it's built right next to, almost looks like a door opening. And this is a big machine, and it looks like they basically had to slide it between the countertop and the opening that the machine goes into, barely fit into it, and slid back. Now, this is a problem because if you have to work on this machine at all, you can't have access to it, because if you're going to slide that machine out, you have zero room to get behind it. It barely fits between the opening and the wall. Only thing you do is slide it out and slide it to the right. That's a lot of work, because we're going to have to bring slider mats, 2 people, slide it out there, disconnect everything so we can slide it out, slide it to the side to be able to work on it. Well, how useful is that going to be when I don't have anything connected up to it and I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with it and I need to test it? So don't do this. It looks fantastic, it looks great, but this is definitely a picture of what not to do in your laundry room. If your contractor tries to tell you to do it like this, don't believe him, because he's not the one that has to live here after it starts breaking. Because he's going to build it, say you got a year warranty, your appliances are going to last longer than that before they start breaking, hopefully. It shouldn't be breaking within the year, but after that year and its warranty's gone and the contractor's long gone, and then it starts breaking, unfortunately, you're going to be cussing him up and down, left and right, and say, why did he allow me to do this? So I would definitely not, put it in a situation such as this. The next one, it's kind of goes along the same line as the first two. You have to have the same access points. It looks good, but again, as you're looking at these pictures, when I said earlier about your controls being way up high, well, you can see what I mean now. So it's difficult to see all the different settings and all the different things unless you're super tall. Now, if you're like a 7-foot NBA player, it'd be great because you can see everything. But if you're not, well, that could be an issue. Now we're moving on to the next picture. Well, same issue. Now this one is kind of bad too. This one is right up against the wall. Now, when it's right up against the wall, the chance of you damaging that wall when you bring it out into the room is pretty high, because it's barely squeezed in that opening. So to get it out, you're going to have to walk it very gently back and forth. And if you have to slide it one way or the other just a little bit, you got a wall right there and it creates a problem. So try not to put your laundry stuff right up against a wall like that. That's an issue as far as ease of getting it out. And I will tell you, if I was looking at the situation, I'd be asking somebody to be signing a waiver form before I even considered pulling this out, because the chances of that outer wall being damaged pulling it in and out is pretty good. Well, we've gone over all the boring stuff now, so let's get into the nuts and bolts of this whole remodel and what we're going to have. With the machine that's going to go in here, there's a picture right here that you know, you can take a look at. This is kind of the design that Reed kind of likes, and these are some suggestions I'm going to make with this picture that he has here. The design is really great, but this is what I would change in this, as far as making changes to make it easier and more accessible for the technician, and actually easier to install or uninstall if you need to. The cabinetry, upper cabinetry, that's going to get screwed to the wall. That's not an issue, because just like your kitchen cabinetry, screwed to the wall, be fantastic. What I would do, instead of having this all built in so it doesn't move, is the bottom bench. It's great, but I would take that bench and not attach it to the floor or attach it to anything else. So that bench is removable. You can just grab it, slide it out from underneath the back shiplap, slide it out of the room, so that way you have access to be able to pull the machine out and slide it to the side and get access from the side of the machine if you need. Now also, if you look in this picture, it's got a big long board that covers the whole side of the unit. Now that's for a couple reasons. One is aesthetics and it looks good. Two, basically it's covering up all the connections that are behind the machine, so they don't, when you walk in the room, you're like, oh, that's kind of ugly. Because it is, because you say water hoses and drain hoses and electrical lines, you want to hide that. My advice is not make that board quite the whole distance from the wall to the outer of the cabinetry, because you really don't need that. You only need to have the board, you know, 6-8 inches long, just long enough to basically cover up all the ugliness from behind the machine. That way the machine, if once the bench is removed, you can slide the machine out just a little bit and you have complete access to it in a small room like this. If this is what he wants to go with, this is what I would change of the design while I'm building it, to make it easier for the machine and everything else. So at this point, I'm going to turn this back over to Reed and let him talk to you about, you know, some of his thoughts about my ideas about changing things in this, and see if this would work for this application for this room. And hopefully he might be telling you what he's getting in. So let's find out.
Okay. Thank you, Blake, for those recommendations. I think that's what we're going to go with, is the cabinets up top, shiplap, and then a removable bench. We might even do a longer wall that maybe slots in, which he suggested as well. But let's talk about what laundry tower we chose. So we went with Electrolux, and there's two main reasons we chose this one over the now many other options. Reason number one is the doors on the Electrolux unit are reversible. And because we're putting it in this back corner, most doors open up like this one from right to left. If we have this in the corner, that's going to be a bit of a, you know, cumbersome challenge to tuck ourselves in the corner and do that. That's the biggest reason we're going with that one. Number two is that LG's great, but there's little things on the back of the unit where Electrolux has an upper hand. It's a little bit more user-friendly. Some of those things are where the dryer hose is located, where the electrical plug is located, and there's a really cool feature where if you are installing the electrical plug and you drop a screw, which happens all the time, Electrolux has thought of that, and they have a little funnel that catches those screws. Really cool. Just little things that like that give it a little bit of an edge. Personally, I think the LG looks a little bit better, but that's not a huge deal. I mean, look, do you think I care about that? Be on the lookout. We're gonna make a couple more videos on this Electrolux laundry tower. We're gonna be testing its wash performance specifically with different cycles, how it does with whites and stains, and just more of an in-depth review of what the differences are between the Electrolux and the other models out there, or the other models within the Electrolux line. Additionally, we're going to be actually doing a fake service on the unit itself once this is all built out, so that we can prove, yes, what we did worked, or maybe it didn't work. We'll see. Now let's see how the rest of this remodel goes. I've never done anything like this before, so hopefully it turns out okay.
Thanks for watching this video today. We got a lot more stuff to come, so it's going to be great to be able to show you what us as technicians have to go through to service something in a room like this. It's going to give you ideas down the road when you decide you want to move into a new home, or what you're going to do with an existing space, what you should and should be doing. Thanks for watching today. We really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe. We'd like to see you again, and send you all these fun videos. And we have a lot of other great videos for lots of years. Check them out. Give you some good tips, hints, maybe what to buy, what not to buy. and we'll see you again real soon.